Hello, and welcome to the Season 3 finale of Precon Decon, the video series where I deconstruct the pre-constructed decks of Magic the Gathering's history. I always like doing these little finale videos at the end of kind of each season as I break up the videos, just so we can kind of like check progress, where we are with the project, and also I like to talk about the decks that I liked the most and decks I kind of had some problems with when I was reviewing them. So let's just dive on, look at the finale. Just a quick video here to tide you over until Season 4 drops. So this is our progress so far. So you can see a lot of red here now. We're now over 2/3 of the way there. So we're sort of coming into the home stretch now, which is honestly like such an amazing feeling. Like it feels really good to know that I'm this sort of close to the end of the project, or for now, like how I originally envisioned it. There's been a lot of support from you watching, which I'm very, very grateful for. So I think there's definitely going to be more content after we've looked at all these normal set precons, and then planeswalker decks and dual decks. Like I'm in it for the long run, basically. But yeah, this is where we are now with the progress. So looking good. Let's move on. And I'll talk about what's going to be covered in the next kind of season, the next kind of like block of time. But for now, let's talk about the top and bottom 5 that I had of this season. So before I go into this, I always like to say, like, if you liked any of these decks that I'm going to sort of rag on in the bottom 5, then that's fine. It's all just opinions. We're all friends here. These are the ones that I was just not as excited by, or that I had issues with when I was reviewing them. They're not maybe necessarily bad as such. It's just that they weren't my cup of tea. We'll put it that way. Just I say, don't want to yuck anyone's yum about certain decks that they've maybe got nice memories about. But these are just ones that I wasn't super fond of. So let's dive into those. And it's a season finale. We've always got to do a top and bottom, right? So the first two both from Conflux. So I'm just going to say a little story about this. So this is actually my second attempt at recording this finale video, because I had it locked in ages ago, back in February, and as I've seen like comments come in on some of the videos and stuff, I realized that, like, not that my opinion was wrong, because I originally, from Shards of Alara block, I had the Grixis Undead deck in here, and I was like, oh, it's bad because there's not a lot of unearthed creatures, which is I feel like a valid criticism to make, but also like that deck was not bad. Like, and again, I'm not, this is where I'm tying myself in knots. Not saying these decks were bad, but like, in retrospective, I went back and reflect and be like, all right, you know what, that Grixis deck could have used more unearthed creatures because that was the faction keyword. But the other contents of that deck were pretty good. Not so for these two, so I had a bit of a rethink, and these are the two from Conflux that I really wasn't so keen on. So Jund Appetite for War. This, in my opinion, was a worse version of the Shards of Alara Jund deck, just because I know it just didn't do the Devour theme very well. It doesn't do as much. There's not as many cards to make it work as a strategy. It was a bit sort of all over the place. And the other one, Naya Domain. So long running viewers of the channel will know that back when I was looking at the invasion block decks, which feels like years ago, I kind of like ragged on like the domain cards back then. I've actually come round on domain because I've recently been playing like a domain deck using Dominaria United cards, which I really, really enjoy playing. So I'm actually kind of okay with domain now. But this Naya deck, really, really, I think was not great. Ideally, in Conflux, what would have been good would have been to have a proper Naya deck, and then like a 6th one, which should have been proper 5-color domain. That's what I think. But yeah, as it was, this one, it's kind of half domain and half traditional Naya, which is like big creatures, power 5 or more matters, and Yeah, so people who kind of wanted another Naya deck were kind of probably not happy, and people who wanted a domain deck probably weren't happy, and they sort of like mashed them in together. And yeah, I just don't think it was done very well. Honestly, I still don't know why Conflux it's a small set, and they're like, let's do domain. We can do that in sort of a, a set of about less than 200 cards. Yeah, yeah, so that's for those reasons. I was not fond of these two. I think for the most part, I think Shards of Alara, Conflux, Alara Reborn were all okay. Actually, I think some of the decks in Alara Reborn were really quite good actually. But yeah, these were my least favorite. And then from Zendikar Pumped Up, this one is just a straight up mess. It's just a pile of blue and red cards. It's a lot of M10 cards used, so you're not getting a lot of kind of new cards from the new set. And there's no real kind of theme to it. I guess if you had to struggle, you'd say like maybe Kicker is the theme, but like there's not really many cards with Kicker in the deck, and also it's not like the set had anything that really benefited Kicker. Like there was no Kicker payoffs. That's just kind of like not how the set was designed. So it is just an absolute grab bag of just random red and blue spells. Yeah, it's really not wonderful at all. It's a shame because the rares are pretty good. Hellkite Charger is like a good rare, and the other rare is Rite of Replication, which is also very good. So yeah, I don't know. But it's not impressed by this one. Cool. I think out of all of the Zendikar and Worldwake ones, this was the weakest, and that's saying something because like some of the Worldwake ones were pretty bad in my opinion. But yeah, I think this one was not great at all. And then from Rise of the Eldrazi, the two leveler decks. So in the first take I did of this, I actually said all five of the Rise of the Eldrazi decks, and I was like, oh, I can't pick one because they're all, I think they're all pretty bad. But again, I've had a bit of a retrospective. Like the red green one is like not awful. Again, my criticism with that is like, oh, it's meant to be an Eldrazi deck, and there's barely any Eldrazi in it, but like it was still fine as a red green aggro deck. And yeah, and like the aura one is fine, and like the black red spawn one is fine as well. These two, the two level ones, are, I think, they were just bad, just because I think level up is not an amazing mechanic anyway. And it's just confused me why the deck space was given to to doing it twice essentially, and especially both with blue as well. Like I don't know, like I feel like you could have, if you wanted two level decks, you could have had them be in two different colors. Like one could have been white blue, and the other one could have been like red green or something, maybe, or red black. I don't know. But yeah, and it was annoying because I mentioned in the at the end of the totem power video, like there were so many good like alternatives I thought for decks within Rise of the Eldrazi, like blue red spells or red white defenders, something like that could have been a bit more interesting. But yeah, these I thought were really bad, and the blue black one, especially Leveler's Scorn, I think was really quite atrocious. Like when I was putting it together, I was just like, "This is some very, very frustrating choices made in how they were put together." But yeah, so those were the five that I didn't like, or like didn't impress me that much. But obviously there were ones I really liked as well, so let's look at those. So the first one from Zendikar is Rise of the Vampires. This is super, super good. It's one of the, it's a precon that in the past I bought more than one of to sort of double up on the good stuff. Get two Malakir Blood Witches, full set of Nighthawks. Yeah, the Zendikar Black Vampires are really good. Actually, in retrospect, I'm really annoyed that back in the day I never got the black the vampire one from Worldwake, because that actually had some fairly decent rares in it as well. I had Anawan and Butcher and Malakir, which would have been good if you mashed them in together. But I really liked Rise of the Vampires. Yeah, really, really good. Just very straightforward. Black vampires. Yep, fine. And then skipping all the way ahead then to Scars and Miradan. So Dead Spread. I had completely forgotten about this deck. And then when I was like, putting the video together and seeing the deck list and all the the cards that went into it, it kind of unlocked a bit of a memory. And I remember like sort of playing this one out of the box a few times and actually having like a really good time with it. Just because I admired it, just because it had strategy, which is proliferate, and it like really committed to it. And like I don't know if it's because like maybe how the set was designed or something, but it felt like, I don't know, everything. It just had a lot of good synergies in the deck, and it just, I don't know, it just kind of, I don't know, pushed all my buttons, and I just really liked this one. So yeah, really good on that one. And I don't normally care for sort of blue black decks, but this one I really liked it. And then from Euphyrexia, just these three, I liked all these three from Euphyrexia. Um, so again, I just want to I want to say like these are not ranked in any way. I'm not saying like because I'm mentioning these last, these are the best ones. These are like the top three of the top five kind of thing. This is just the order that like I reviewed them in. Just it makes it easier for me when I put this video together. Yeah, I wouldn't know how to rank them anyway. I think just having a top five anyway. But I'm rambling there. So these three I really liked, all for different reasons. I really liked the green white one because Golem Tribal is like such a, no one was expecting Golem Tribal. And I really like the Splicer creatures. I think the Splicer creatures are really good fun. So yeah, I liked it for that. The Life for Death one, the red white one, that used Phyrexian mana as a theme, I thought was pretty fun and pretty unique as a strategy. What would have really tipped this up to being, I think, my favorite overall out of the five would have been if this deck had used non-red, non-white cards that also used Phyrexian mana. Yeah, with the idea that being you could cast them anyway because you just pay life for them. So this had like a couple of like dismembers in it or something. That would have really tipped it over. So yeah, I really liked the Life or Death. And Ravaging Swarm, I think out of all the Infect decks in Scars and Miradan block, this one was probably the best. And like in retrospect, back in the day, I played Infect and was like, haha, I'm playing Infect, so it's great. You just win really easy with all these poison counters. In retrospect now, I don't really like it as much because I feel like Infect is basically too strong. I like Toxic. Toxic, I think, is a fixed Infect. But yeah, like back in the day, like I think this one would have been the strongest Infect deck out of because there was the green black one, there was a green white one, and then there was this one. Just because that Swarm Lord is like such a strong rare to have, and it had like some really other good cards in there. So yeah. So those are my top and bottom five. So let's look ahead what we've got in Season 4 coming up. So everything in green. So Innistrad up to the end of Theros, and then M12, M13, M14. So this is kind of like a period of time for me where I was getting... This was probably when I was playing Magic the most. It was like I was going to pre-releases a lot. I was kind of taking it to a more like competitive level. So yeah, it's a sort of a period I associate quite nicely there. I like all these sets. I think they're all great because like everyone loves going back to Ravnica, everyone loves Innistrad and Theros. Not as strong as a set, but like it's got so many fun, Greek mythology references, which I really like. M13 is my favorite core set, so yeah, this is going to be a really fun season to review. I've done all the graphics on these. I've basically spent the past month just doing that. So now I've just got to sit down and record 60 videos. So that'll be fun. That'll keep me busy for the next few weeks. Yeah, so really looking forward to season 4. But yeah, we're coming into the home stretch, which is really exciting. So I'm recording this at the start of April, sort of early April. As I said, I've done all the graphics for Season 4 videos. I've just got to record them. So I could start uploading them kind of as I do them, but I like doing them sort of in batches. So Season 3, I think, is going to take us up to the end of April. This is when you'll be seeing this video, end of April. And we'll probably give it maybe... let's say a month and a bit. Hopefully June, might be July, for the start of Season 4. Don't know what I'll do in the interim, if I do anything. We'll just see how it goes. I've kind of banded the idea around of doing video game stuff before, which I might not do. I might do. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. This is just the rambling at the end of the video, I suppose. I just want to say, thank you to everyone who is, discovering the channel. I know there's a small group of you who are very dedicated, who comment on every video, which I'm really grateful for. I really like that it drives engagement. Always like reading people's comments. Genuinely, I always like it when people share their stories about these decks. It's kind of the reason why I started this video series. Because I do think these precons are an important aspect of the hobby's history, and I do think they deserve more attention. And judging by the stories that people tell, the memories they're sharing, I feel very validated in doing it. And obviously, there's an audience out there who like these pre-constructed decks, and I don't know, would maybe like to see them come back, maybe one day in some way. But yeah, that's really all I've got to say. If you've got any, thoughts, comments, opinions, feedback, stories, whatever, stick a comment below. And you know what? We'll just leave it there. And I'll say, let's say June, might be July, hopefully June. I just got to record all these videos, so I might make a start on that now. But until then, thanks for watching and listening. Have a great day.